President Obama attacks success, and therefore under President Obama we have less success, and I will change that.
One time Mr. Miscavige ordered his communicator to break my finger if I didn't answer his question.
Jeremy Lin made the best decision for himself. The New York Knicks are about to make the best decision for themselves.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French, and thank you so much for joining us this Wednesday evening, July 18th. Got a lot to get to this evening, and what first we'll get into is attacking success. Each day in the election cycle has a narrative, and that's today's. Romney says the president is doing just that, attacking success. Do you agree? Well, we'll explain how an out-of-context comment, and there's plenty of them on both sides of the campaign trail, but on how a comment in isolation can become a campaign theme, this time for Team Romney. And next, the secrets of Scientology. Well, the breakup of Tomcat, it's maybe on the cover of People magazine, etc., and all the rest here, but it also raises some disturbing questions on some very pressing questions as it relates to a secretive religion. We're going to hear from someone who has spent years following the Church of Scientology. And later, are the Knicks Linsanity? I couldn't help myself. Linsanity headed out of New York and down to Houston. Did they pass up a golden opportunity, or did they make a smart business move considering the salary tax cap implications? And then retweet, well, Anthony Weiner and wife Huma sat down with People magazine for a little chat. That's all here, and it's not like he's trying to run for office again or anything else. Yeah, right. Are you ready to see Mr. Weiner in politics again? All that and much more is coming up on this edition of RFL, but let's begin with the latest poll numbers. And Andrew, they don't show too much love for too many people. It is the dog days of summer here, but the fall and the election will be here before we know it. Got 111 days till the election. Poll numbers has got President Obama, when you put them all into a composite here, still ahead of Mitt Romney, up a little over a point when it comes to the popular vote. And again here, if you extrapolate it to the extreme, about 40 electoral votes here when you match up which states are leaning which way. Now, another view comes from Nate Silver of 538, the blog at the Times, and he's about as good as anybody when it comes to prognosticating these things this far out. He forecast the numbers, and he nailed them in 08 to, I think, the exact number. Current estimates he has puts Obama to win re-election with about 50.7% of the popular vote and just under 300 electoral votes when it's all said and done. Now, we've got a number of political stories to get to, including some new numbers to show just how unhappy voters, Democrat and Republican, are in this campaign as we speak. And Andrew, there's bipartisan agreement on one thing. People don't like the way this campaign's going.
But you got to wonder, Rich, is it really any surprise after weeks of each side accusing the other of crossing the line and of more focus on the candidates' personal stories instead of their policies? Voters are understandably frustrated. Latest ABC News Washington Post poll shows 45% of voters have a negative view of how President Obama is running his campaign, though 1% say otherwise. Mitt Romney's numbers could be a concern for the presumptive Republican nominee. His campaign scores a -11. 38% view it favorably, 49% view it unfavorably. But the bigger problem for Romney may be what we've been hearing from Rupert Murdoch and so many other top Republicans, that inside his own party, Romney has a campaign approval gap. Among Democrats, 3 and 4 like the way the president is running his campaign, but among Republicans, Romney's campaign approval, just 66%. Rich?
All right, Andrew, thank you. Let's get into our conversation at the table here. And I want to bring in everybody. Mark Rosen, you got Dominic Carter and Andrew, who you've met before here. Guys, you know, is this just the way campaigns are? They've always been, you know, not for the meek of heart. Dominic, or the one thing that does strike me is if they're already getting into, is he American enough and all the rest, and we're only in July, how ugly will this thing get by November?
The honest answer is I really believe, and I hope I'm wrong, that this thing is going to get so nasty. Reverend Wright, Jeremiah Wright, will be an issue in this campaign. There are a number of Republicans that and Mr. Romney himself has said that it's off the table, but it's getting so ugly. Romney is so on the defensive over the issue of taxes, over the issue of Bain, that I think that he feels, he's already said so, that he feels that some of these attacks are unfair. The gloves are off already, and by the time it hits Labor Day and so on, it's going to be full throttle negative.
Now, Mark, you're a candidate for office here. If you were running in this climate right now, would you say, hey, this is terrific, because there might be a pox on both their houses, that the public be so sick and tired of incumbents of every stripe here, I got a chance to get in? Or do you think that it's just really turning people off in the process?
Well, we are definitely in deep need of some leadership with an integrity and speak the truth to the American public. And we're not seeing it on either side, which is disappointing.
It's not my imagination, right? It's really toxic, right?
It is very toxic, and we're talking about piddly things. And it's very tactical. The good news is, and I think Romney will win, because at the end of the day, we're going to all reassess and say, this economy is stagnant and going down the hill. And we're going to say, at the end of the day, this person has led a successful business. He managed the Olympics. He's done a lot of great things, entrepreneurial spirit, capitalism. And we have got to get past the tactical silliness. But I think Romney's not helping himself. Get the taxes out there. Just get out there and have a positive message for America, and he'll get through.
Who's hurt more here by the tone of this thing?
Romney.
You think so?
Absolutely. I think people know President Obama. They don't know Mitt Romney. The negative campaigning on both sides is hurting Romney's ability to create his own personality, create his own ID. I think that's a bigger deficit for him than for the president at this point.
Okay, let's talk about the Romney strategy. And they're trying to turn the page away from Bain Capital, away from, as Mark said, those missing tax returns. And they think they found a winner, something that the president said Friday. And Andrew, they're playing this clip here and they're pouncing on it.
Well, Rich, it's in a nutshell, President Obama is hurting success. At least that's what Mitt Romney hopes you'll think. Take a look.
He said this: if you've got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen. That's somebody else's government, in his view. President Obama attacks success, and therefore, under President Obama, we have less success, and I will change that.
All right, Andrew, is that misleading here? Because it's not just that. Romney saw it everywhere you turn. Fox, I guess, has been playing this thing up all day, that he hates success, and the narrative of it is, hey, this is class warfare, pure and simple. He wants to get anybody, whether you're a small business or whether you're a big business, he wants to get you if you made it.
The quote that Mitt Romney just gave, which is taken from a speech that the president gave on Friday, is the one that's been used all over Fox, and it really is an out-of-context portion of what the president had to say. What he actually said was something very similar to what we heard from Elizabeth Warren earlier this year, that it really takes a village to build a business or to build a family or whatever the case may be. Let's play the Obama shot in its full context if we can.
If you were successful, somebody along the line gave you some help. There was a great teacher somewhere in your life. Somebody helped to create this unbelievable American system that we had that allowed you to thrive. Somebody invested in roads and bridges. If you got a business, you didn't build that. Somebody else made that happen. The internet didn't get invented on its own.
So you get the idea with the wider context.
And we've heard this before here. Mark, is it, I mean, I thought Romney, he had a good day yesterday. He seemed really peeved up here and he went off script. But you've heard the context and you heard the one line here. Cheap shot or fair by Romney?
I think it's absolutely fair. Words have meaning. He's saying that Obama in his heart and his gut attacked success. And if you look at the entire conversation, it absolutely, his underlying assumptions are big government, big strangulating government, he won't call it strangulating, is the answer. He didn't say it that way, but there are other things in our world that matter. Culture and society matter. Not everything gets done by big government. Yes, it takes a village. And village is as much culture and society as it is big government programs.
If you step back for 1 second and say, you just land on this planet and you just observe for 4 years. We know what happened in 2008 and what he walked into. How has business been really wrapped on the knuckles unfairly or even harshly in the last 4 years? They got bailed out in a huge way. Taxes haven't gone down. They've enjoyed historic low tax rates in the interim, and the gap between have and have-nots has never been bigger. How has this been a socialist president, not yours words here, but a president that's been robbing Peter to pay Paul? I mean, I hear the words, but the reality is completely different.
Well, remember, he spent
a lot of progressives have gotten on the president for not being tough enough.
Understood, but his first year, there's $800 billion stimulus. Where did that money go? Where was the value for that dollar? Ask the taxpayer, what'd you get for that $800 billion? Ask the taxpayer about the $1 trillion debt every single year.
You know
goes
what we got for that $800 billion? We got an end to unemployment, we got an end to layoffs, or a reversal in unemployment and layoffs, and a growth in GDP, which we didn't have. It's that it wasn't big enough. And hurting success, corporate profits have never been bigger. The tax burden on the wealthy in this country has never been smaller.
But then another question becomes, why was the bailout necessary? Did Obama just come into office and say, I need $800 billion? Why was it necessary in the first place?
There was clearly need to help the economy.
Why? Why?
But spend the money wisely.
Well, President Obama argues because of Republican policies that got us in this problem in the first place.
Is the blame game.
I don't see it as the blame game. What Mr. Romney is really doing, and I respect your opinion, what Mr. Romney is really doing, Richard, is it's playing to a narrative. It's not attacking success. It's a narrative. This guy is not one of us. That's what he's really saying.
Dominic, in TV Talk, you helped me with a lead in here. Now, there has been a theme that's been coming. We even got an apology on it as early as yesterday. But the idea of the Americanness, or lack thereof, of the sitting president. And it hasn't come directly from Mitt Romney's mouth here, but it's not like you got to listen just to Rush to hear this, right?
No, you don't, Rich. We got it all day yesterday from that same Romney speech in Pennsylvania. He told the crowd that President Obama, quote, wants to change the nature of America, adding that entrepreneurship is the right course for the country and that the president's course is, quote, extremely foreign. Now, you mentioned Rush Limbaugh. A couple hours after he said what he said, we got this from a top Romney surrogate yesterday.
I wish this president would learn how to be an American.
And that, of course, Rich, he was John Sununu. He later apologized for it. And then Rush Limbaugh basically went on a screed about how Obama hates America.
I want to ask, where is all of this coming from? I have never seen an American president so often be called un-American by surrogates extremely close to the Republican nominee. Where is all of this coming from? He was educated at Columbia, Harvard University. He's as American as all the rest of us are. Where is this coming from?
He's not imagining this, Mark, here. We talked about the culture and everything changing. You mentioned you got a problem with what Sununu said. He apologized for it the next day. Limbaugh went even further here, you know?
Right.
But Limbaugh's not holding a position in the party. But I'm saying to you, it's only July. This is going to get ramped up here, and it's ugly.
That's an important point. It is only July. At this point, no one thought that Reagan was going to win. He was deep, deep in the polls at that point. We have a long time till November, but I totally agree, get out of the tactical nonsense. Have a positive vision for America. What are the 3 things Romney's going to achieve to spur economic growth and get out of this and certainly run away from the un-American language? I agree with you.
I just heard you comparing Mitt Romney to Ronald Reagan.
I didn't. I said that we are... Time out. That's unfair. That's unfair. That's unfair.
Un-American is what it is.
That's unfair.
I question your Americanness for that, Andrew. All right.
It's a foreign statement.
Exactly.
For sure.
Completely. Well done.